an actor from the Rio Grande Valley. Very excited to be talking. Um, very excited to be talking this hour. Yeah, like Ray, let's get started. How'd you get started? How'd you start making music?
I got started making music at a young age because I had an uncle that would play guitar, and I noticed that when he would come over during holidays or whatever, he would pull out the acoustic guitar, and the whole family would kind of just get, you know, in engulfed or like sucked in by the music, and it was such a good vibe, and I was totally like, you know, put on to that by that experience as a young kid. So I picked up the guitar like I want to say like at 12 or whatever. I didn't have any formal education. I just played by ear, tablature or whatever. But I started writing music when I was in high school. So that's I pretty much consider myself more of a songwriter than a musician because I didn't really excel at at playing and I don't have a really good singing voice, but I like to think that I can write a song. I've written like over 100 original songs, and what I started doing was recording at home. Like when I was in my 20s, when with the invention of the CDRs and all that stuff, I was able to bootleg some recording programs and burn stuff on CDs. And then with the birth of social media, like with MySpace and stuff like that, I found an avenue to try to spread my music. So I would go on every like message board or whatever that I could, and I would say, "Yo, free CD, free CD." Send me your address. Of course, this was in the early days of popular internet, so people weren't afraid to just give strangers their addresses. So I would get addresses from all over the world, and I was able to send CDs to the UK, New Zealand, Belgium, Canada, and like all over the United States as well. So that was really cool, and I've just kind of been guerrilla marketing myself for years. Um, and my brand is basically just like lo-fi DIY original music. I never really tried to pursue anything more than that on my own. I have been in other bands. Um, One of the most notable experiences I had in another band was I got to play bass in a band called the Van Goghs, which is this really cool project that was born here in the Valley by some really talented people. And it was a band, and we kind of based our thing was like community service. So we would do benefits and stuff like that. We would raise money for the local food bank. We gave away a bunch of backpacks and stuff to kids. So that's one of my proudest moments in music, something that I've done with music. But recently, I just host open mics. I kind of feel like as I was coming up, uh, there weren't really a lot of places to play original music, and even to this day, like all the bars and restaurants, they just hire people that play covers, for obvious reasons, and I understand. So open mics have always been like a great way for people to be able to put out their original content. And so trying to I've been trying to incubate that here in the Valley for like the past 10 years. So I've gone through bars, restaurants, and stuff like that, whoever will have me. And
Yeah,
that's what I do with the music.
yeah.
Nothing major.
So before we get into like kind of the open mics that you're kind of curating out there, or you're putting on in the valley. Tell us about some of the venues you used to tour around when you were in a band. Like what were some of the places? We're trying to get like oral histories of venues and spaces and places all over the country.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when I was with the Van Goghs, we played a few shows at like universities, like UT Brownsville, UT Edinburgh. We did like Make a Wish Foundation Christmas party. We played one of those that was super awesome. Um, and then any local bar. There's a street here in McAllen, Texas, called 17th Street. It's kind of like the entertainment district or whatever. So there's a lot of bars. We played some bars there, some clubs. I also hosted the open mics there too. Yerberia Cultura is a real cool spot. Cine El Rey is another badass spot here in McAllen. And right now, actually, I'll mention those two because they're actually having trouble because of, you know, the lockdown, you know, the pandemic that's going on. So the community's trying to come together and raise funds so that they can stay functioning, you know, or stay open until after this is over. Especially Cine El Rey, man, it's like a 75-year-old historic theater here in the valley, and it's been, the stage has been home to like legends, you know, local legends, Esteban Jordan, Flaco Jimenez. I think Freddie Fender's probably played there too. The Van Goghs played there. But yeah, they got this cool program going on right now where they're just asking all the fans and stuff to just pitch in $5, and it's going pretty well. So that's kind of cool how the community is coming together to support the arts and the venues that have supported the arts.
Yeah. So for those who might not be familiar, can you tell us a little about who Freddie Fender was? And
yeah, Freddie Fender was actually a guy from San Benito down here in the valley, and his name was Valdemar Huerta. And as you can tell, like in all entertainment industry, like even Rich Valens did it, Ricardo Valenzuela, you gotta get a catchier name. They're not gonna accept it. But yeah, he changed his name to Freddie Fender, and I mean he's got classic. Everybody knows like The Last Teardrop. You know, that's one of his most famous songs. But he went on to like support a lot of musicians. There was a record label out of Corpus Christi called Freddie Records, and so a lot of up and coming artists got to record through him. There's a water tower in San Benito that's got his picture on it. It's super cool. That's like our claim to fame down here in the valley. Everybody who's an artist in the valley, their dream is to get their face painted on a water tower in their hometown. That's like
Yeah. So, all right. Can you tell us a little bit about the record label that Freddie put together, and like, so what are some of the talent that came on that?
It was a lot of Tejano music, and Tejano is basically what it is in the 1800s. A lot of German people emigrated to Texas, and what they brought with them was the accordion and polka music. So us Mexicans, we immediately like took that in as our own. And so there's a gentleman that was named Narciso Martinez, who's the inventor of what we call conjunto, which is basically like 3 instruments. It's the bajo sexto, which is kind of like a acoustic bass and guitar like morphed together, and then a little drum set and the accordion, and the dude, like the bajo sexto, the guitarist, just does a little like strumming thing, and the accordion goes off, and the little drummer just pat 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 pat, and it's very very similar to, well, it is polka. It's German music, but we like adopted it as our own here in Texas, and then that kind of morphed into what we call Tejano, which kind of added an electric guitar, a real bass, and keyboards, and so yeah, that's kind of how we're raised down here. All our parents brought us up on Tejano, and me specifically, but I'm sure a lot of people in the valley relate. My parents were migrant farm workers, so my mom's parents had 9 kids, because your kids were your workers. You'd load them all up in a truck and you'd drive up north, and then you'd work for however many cents per acre or whatever. You'd get a bunch of money and then come back down. You'd live up there for a few months and then come back down and then use your money or whatever. So that's what our roots are. So like we're all raised on the foundation of working hard, but also playing hard. And Tejano music is one of the ways that we do that. our culture also has what's called quinceañeras, right? So when a girl turns 15, they we throw a big huge party for her. Thank you, brother. We throw a big huge party when a girl turns 15, and we hire a Tejano band, and everybody gets in dresses and tuxedos and have these dances. And every wedding and every quinceañera is like this huge celebration that's based around music, this upbeat, dance-worthy music that just, brings us all together. And growing up here as a teenager, the first thing we want to do is rebel against it, right? And make a rock band.
Right.
I was like a teen during the grunge era, 1991. So Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all that stuff, Metallica, that was all like a big influence for me and a lot of my friends. So that's how we started. Plus, all that shit was super easy to play. So everybody wanted to fucking have a band. We all had a band. We all made bands. But, as I continued to play, I found that music has this way of connecting people and a way where you can like slip a positive message in there. And, that's just something that I really liked. And I kind of try to do that when I write songs and stuff. Like the majority of the songs I write that aren't sappy love songs are like kind of community oriented, hopeful, positive message, lyrical things. I couldn't think of a genre that I fit into, so I created my own. I call it South Texas schizophrenic post-apocalyptic stoner music.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what you're doing now with the open mics and opening the doors for other.
So most recently, I'm hosting open mics at this cool little place in McAllen called the Gremlin. It's a like a beer joint and restaurant that a friend of mine owns. It's like this 100-year-old house that he had got and turned it into an art gallery, and he would throw shows there. And then he got with this awesome chef. His name is Antonio Reina. He got with this awesome chef, Alyssa Cantu, and they partnered up and they opened this restaurant. It's called the Gremlin. It's super fucking cool. It's a small little chill spot. And so I go there on Wednesday nights. I haven't, right during the pandemic. We had to stop that. But right before every Wednesday night, I'd go like at 10 p.m. and set up. We'd go till 2 a.m. and we'd set up drums, guitar, mics, and anybody who wanted to go up can go up. And so you could perform your original music. You could go up and do covers, or you could jump up and just jam with whoever's up there. And so we have a lot of fun doing that. Specifically, the owner and I, Tony and I, enjoy it most because he and I used to be in a band together in Austin, like I want to say 15 years ago. And so we get to play together again. So it's usually just me and him jamming for a couple hours if nobody else goes up, but that's fun. But yeah, open mics have been a great way for up and coming talent to have a place to gain stage experience, but it's also a place for like seasoned professionals and stuff to come in and try new material. We've had like Grammy award winning artists come up. Tato Enriquez, he came and played some songs. We had Alvaro Rodriguez, he's a writer. He's a co-writer of Machete, and he also wrote some episodes of From Dusk Till Dawn, the TV series. And he showed up one night at Yerberia Cultura, and he's like, yeah, can I play it? Like, fuck yeah. He goes up, dude, and he played this fucking amazing cover on the acoustic of Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And it was just fucking like, that's the kind of shit that I love. It's like these little special magic moments. Most recently at the Gremlin, we were there and we were having an open mic, and there was like this timid young lady that was there, and she's like, can I go up? And I'm like, sure. So she goes up, gets on guitar, and just fucking starts belting this most beautiful voice, dude. And like, I don't even know who she is. I don't even know who she was or what. I can't remember her name right now. She just gave me her first name. But I was like, fuck yeah, like that's the kind of shit that I love when it's something that's unplanned, unexpected, and you're blown away by the talent that people have. Like, and everybody's hometown has that pool of talent, you know. And you know, our culture, our society, we always look upward to the celebrities or whatever. But shit, you know, half the celebrities are fucking just manufactured. You know, there's no originality there. And so it's cool to find those gems in the local scene and kind of try to build a scene where they can get not only the exposure but the appreciation for their craft and their art that, you know, that otherwise we wouldn't be able to get, you know.
Yeah. So in addition to being a musician, you're also an actor.
Yes. I've always wanted to be an actor, and I've always been like gravitated towards it. I think my first experience, I was in elementary school, and we were doing some videos promoting our library, and one of my teachers and the librarian, they wrote the script where I got to play Jim or Ernest P. Worrell, who was the late Jim Varney, the Ernest, you know, Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Goes to Camp.
Hey, Vern.
Yeah, hey Vern. So like I'm just there on the phone, I'm like, hey Vern, you got to come check out the library or whatever. Know what I mean? And I was like in fourth grade, and they loved it. You know, like I guess I didn't know, but I guess I had like some kind of presence on the camera at, you know, in certain, I guess, comedic scenarios, and so they like submitted it to some contest, and I won some kind of state award. It was just a certificate, but it was a big deal to me. I was like in the local paper. Yeah. When I was in fourth grade. It was super cool. So that was my first taste of acting. And then my senior year in high school, I joined drama just because, you know, it was like a throwaway class or whatever. It was a bunch of my friends. Mm-hmm. And I got to be in a play. That was super cool. And then later on, there's a local college here that has a theater, and they welcome the public to come audition. And I went and auditioned for a role in a local production of Romeo and Juliet. I got to play Romeo's dad. That was pretty fucking cool. And I auditioned for another play in the Valley. It was called Basilica. It was written by Mando Alvarado and Michael Ray Escamilla. They're two dudes that are from the Valley, but they've since moved on. Michael Ray Escamilla has been in a bunch of movies. He was also in A Night in Old Mexico. He was in Frontera, that movie. And Mando Alvarado, they've both done a lot of spots like on TV, but they're both also playwrights. So Mando Alvarado's like in New York doing plays and stuff like that. Well, anyways, they came down here to their hometown and brought one of their plays, and I auditioned for it. And I was sure I got the part. I mean, I don't know. I didn't give them a chance to tell me I got it or not, but I was really confident about it. And but I couldn't do it. Like my work schedule conflicted with the rehearsal, so I had to tell them, like, before they could turn me down. I turned them down. I was like, yo guys, I really wish I could do it, but you know, I can't, whatever. So they had seen me audition. So that's how I got the role in A Night in Old Mexico. See, Michael Reyes Camilla already had a part, and he emailed me and he's like, yo Ray, there's a part open for Beggar, dude. You should come try. And I said, all right, cool. So then I call and they're like, sure. The auditions are in Brownsville. I lived in Mission at the time, which is like 60 miles away, like over an hour away. And they're like, and you got to be here by 6. And I was like, fuck, I get out of work at 5. Like, is there any way you can wait till 7? And like, I didn't even have a car at the time. I had to borrow my mom's car. Yeah. And they're like, all right, we'll make an exception. Just tell us when you get here. Okay, cool. So I haul ass to Brownsville, and you've been to the Valley. It's like, it's small, it's flat, it's like one stretch of highway. Yeah. William S. Burroughs wrote about it in the novel Junkie. Chapter 13, it's a fucking badass fucking little excerpt from the book where he talks about the Rio Grande Valley. He says it's a 60-mile stretch from Brownsville to Mission. And then he continues to like rip it gacho. He's like, your milk spoils by the time you get home. Death looms from the United States and drips down to the valley. It's like a gloom. Like it was fucking gacho, but I mean, it's still pretty cool that he wrote about it. So I drive to Brownsville. I'd never been there before. As small as the valley is, we kind of all stick to our little areas. So I drove down there. I'm kind of lost. I stop at this convenience store and I buy one of those 99-cent teas that's like a 24-ounce can. And I tell the guy, can I get a brown paper bag? So I'm drinking a tea out of a 24-ounce can, but it's in a brown paper bag. And I show up to the audition and I say, hey, I'm here. And they're like, all right, come back in 1 hour. And I was like, all right. And I'm holding the tea and I'm walking away. And as I'm going, like leaving the building, the girl chases me down and says, hey. And I said, yeah. She goes, are you drinking? And I said, it's tea. I go, look, check it out. And I showed her and she was like, oh, okay, good. Because we were going to tell you not to come back. And then so I came back an hour later and I was like, hey, sorry about the mix up. I was just trying to get into the part. I'm a method actor. You know, I was playing a beggar, so I had the prop. So that made for a funny story. Like I stuck out a little bit. So I auditioned in front of a camera. They sent it to the director. The director was from Spain. See, this movie, A Night in Old Mexico, was written by Bill Whitliff. Now, Bill Whitliff is the same guy that wrote Lonesome Dove, and he recently passed away. Peace be upon him. He has a whole section at Texas State University in San Marcos of the library that's like the Bill Whitliff collection of all the like books and papers and memorabilia from the movies and stuff. That like Lonesome Dove was a big, huge deal. Robert Duvall was in that. Well, he wrote this movie, A Night in Old Mexico, like over 30 years ago. And he wanted Robert Duvall to play it. And for years, they were looking for somebody to direct it, right? At one point, Dennis Hopper had hopped on as a director. But that you know, fell through or whatever. So I want to say it was 2012, the director, this guy from Spain, Aragon, that's his last name, Aragon. He said he would do it. And his father owned like some major TV production company in Spain, so he had money. He like put up $2 million for this movie, and in Hollywood, $2 million is considered low budget, which is fucked up, right? Yeah. Yeah. So it was a low budget movie, and then they scouted the valley, and they found out that you don't have to go to Mexico to film a Mexico scene. You could just come to the valley, and that's exactly what they did. They set up Brownsville as if it was a little town in Mexico. So he never actually crossed. In the movie, he crosses the border, but he never actually crosses. He's here in the valley. So I auditioned on video. They sent it to the director. He liked it. The same night they called me, and they said, "Hey, we're offering you the part." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, awesome!" So then they give me the date, whatever. The date comes, I show up, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm just an extra, right? I have a line or two, right? So I go line up with the extras or whatever in this like pavilion or whatever. I'm standing in line, and then this lady comes up and she's like, Ray, come here. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm standing in line. She's like, no, you're an actor. You have a speaking role, so it's different. Come over here. Like, you need to go. And so that I went to like the fucking elite part, I guess, man. They had like fucking craft services, food and shit, fucking makeup trailers. I was in a makeup trailer with Jeremy Irvine. He's the guy that played the kid in the movie. He's from that movie War Horse. I never saw it. And also Joaquin Cosio, who's a fucking badass actor. He's recently in Gentified on Netflix. He plays the older dude. So I got to meet him. He was in the movie. That was pretty fucking badass. And then, so then it comes time for my scene. They fucking wheel me out there in like a little golf cart. And I show up on this scene. It's fucking beautiful, elaborate. Everybody like, I had never been on a fucking set, man. So you're talking about somebody with zero experience showing up to a set, and I was like blown away. It was amazing, man. And they wheel me up, like my makeup guy comes out and like retouches me, and all the extras are looking at me like, oh, who's this guy? Like they thought I was somebody famous or something.
Yeah.
And so we filmed the scene. Robert Duvall comes up. We talk, and then he's like, so the scene is he comes up to me, or they're walking by, and I say, hey man, give me a dollar, watch me cut myself. That's the line. And he pulls out money, and his line is, here's a $5, go cut your damn throat.
Whoa.
I love that shit. I love that fucking line. I think that's fucking classic.
Yeah.
In fact, he came out on several interviews where he talked about how he liked that scene so much and he wished it was in the trailer. And so we're filming the scene. He gives me the $5. I put it in my pocket. I walk away, and then they're like, cut, and then reset. So we filmed the scene like 4 times. We did the take like 4 times. Every time I would give him the $5 back. But after the 4th one, I didn't give it back. I kept it, and I have the fucking $5 bill in a frame, dude.
Story. Yeah. So earlier you described your music as like kind of post-apocalyptic, kind of Mad Max or something like that. So can you tell us more about this music that you make?
Yeah. So I've been doing this weird experimental original music for like 25 years. Started out with dual cassette tape recorders. You know what I mean? Back in the 90s, that was the highest technology we had for recording. So, I'd record a little bit and then redub it or whatever. And then the age of 4 tracks came in, which was also a cassette tape, but I got to borrow one from a friend, and I released my first cassette in like 1998. And it was like I had a little toy keyboard and an acoustic guitar and a microphone and a little 4-track. And so I just fucked around and laid down some original songs. I printed like 11 cassette tapes and gave them to my friends. That was my first release. And then, like I was saying earlier, once social media and the technology caught up with recording and do it yourself, I just tried to spread that shit everywhere. I got my CD, one of my CDs, reviewed by this website called independentclauses.com. Back then it was, I think they're still around, I'm not sure. But somebody picked it up and did a review. And, she talked about how, shitty the quality was and how it was like she couldn't put her finger on the genre. I think she said it was like Everlast and Ween and Bobby Bear Jr. or something. And then she said, but the fact that this came across my desk is a testament to DIY, which I kind of pride myself on. You know what I mean? Like when I lived in Austin for a while, I would fucking write my name and my shitty like free website on a fucking white piece of paper and put them up on telephone posts all throughout town and shit. Just total guerrilla marketing. Oh shit. Hold on. Oh, am I still on? My phone. Yeah, sorry. My phone got a weird notification that it was getting too hot and it was going to shut off. But I'm trying to cool it down. I came inside.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. Valley heat, man. The valley heat is tough.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. So, one of the cool things that I was able to do with music though is during like in 2009, I was still trying to spread my music online, like wherever I could, any avenue that I could find where I could upload my music to share with people, I would look for. And I accidentally stumbled upon this website called hitrecord.org. And it was made by Joseph Gordon-Levitt and his late brother Dan Gordon-Levitt, and it was just a message board where they would upload their art and then let people remix it. But then they turned it into a website and opened it to the public where like anybody can go and any medium of art. Like let's say you wrote a poem, you could upload it and then somebody's inspired by the poem. So they make a painting or take a picture and then print the poem on it. That's called the remix. And then they re-upload that and you like tag the people that you collaborate with. And it was really cool. I'd never fucking heard of anything like that. And so the first thing I did was I just went and uploaded all my shit, or I would like see somebody that did video work and I would like put my song on top of it and say, hey, there's a music video. Well, one day I found this cool beat by this user named Lava Tornado. And I just started writing this rap on it. And I went home during my lunch break and I fucking recorded it real quick. And then I uploaded it. And then a few days later, like I guess Joe, who's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he heard it and he liked it and he commented on how rap is like the original remix culture. You know what I mean? Like hip hop and rap, like they're the ones that were taking old samples and remixing them and then creating something new, which is what we were doing. You know, we're another case of us whiteys stealing black music. But it was cool. And then he rapped on it. So that was pretty badass too. So, and then he put it on the anthology. So they did an anthology, which was a CD, a book, and a DVD. And he promoted it like on Jimmy Fallon, Jay Leno, Tavis Smiley, even on PBS. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I got to be on a CD with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Sean Lennon. Sean Lennon is also on there. And I'm a big Beatles fan. So I would tell my friends like, dude, he came out of John Lennon's balls, man. I want a CD with him.
That's wild. So what was it like with Joseph Gordon-Levitt? What was that like? What was he like?
Oh, he's super cool, man. I didn't meet him in person, but just online exchanging emails and the work. But he's a super cool dude, man. He's one of the main points of hitrecord.org that he always talks about and that I love is that it erases the lines of celebrity. So he's no longer this A-list Hollywood actor that's been in fucking Dark Knight, 50-50, 500 Days of Summer, like all this shit, you know, that he's famous for. Third Rock from the Sun. That I grew up watching that. He's like us, and we're all on this level playing field, and that's kind of what the internet can do. The internet can do that. I mean, for instance, right now, I'm fucking honored to be interviewed by you because in 2014, Edward Vidaure shared a video of you reading The Devil. And I was fucking blown away, dude. Blown away. I think that's when I requested you, and I've been following you ever since. And you're probably way younger than me, but you're like a fucking mentor to me, brother. Like, like the way you speak and the things you say, your ability to articulate what a lot of us are feeling, I really truly appreciate that, man. And so the point of this is what I'm saying is like the internet does that. Like, look at how, I mean, we're connected. You're fucking an LA person. I'm down here in the Valley.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, your connection with Flower Song Books, that's fucking badass. Yeah. That's Valley Press. I mean, we're closing in the gaps with the internet, and that's what we should be able to do. At the same time, we're given this bullhorn of or the ability to spread it, you know, worldwide. Like I uploaded several songs on Hit Record. One of them, or actually, one of them got picked for this little short cartoon, and it got played at the fucking TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival. It also got played at the BMI in London. So like, shit, man, I'm fucking just a little dude, a nobody, but my fucking music has been played at all these places.
Yeah.
But it's because of the internet, you know, the ability of that World Wide Web. It's a fucking badass tool that we could use it for good instead of this fucking bullshit that's going on
right now. So right now people are, sometimes people are hosting these open mics, and it's kind of like a sad imitation of the life they had, right? The more poetry open mics, and it's like a sad imitation. But then other times people are doing these things with open mics where they're bringing people from all over the country to talk, and you never get that. Like you get someone from Chicago, somebody from Detroit, somebody from New York, somebody from LA, somebody from Wichita or wherever, someone from the Valley. So all these different people doing different stuff from different parts of the country. And I think like a lot of that, I hope we don't lose that when this ends,
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, you're right, man. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Flower Song.
So I first heard a Flower Song through some of the local poets here, because the thing about me and poets is that I love poets, because as a songwriter, there is no better audience member than a poet. See, you go to a bar and you try to play an original song and nobody's even giving a fuck or paying attention. But when you go to a coffee shop that's a poetry reading, then they're all like focused and everybody's like dissecting your lyrics and appreciating the work that you put in to create that. You know what I mean? So Edward actually invited me to play. I was a featured musician he used to have an event called Pasta, Poetry, and Vino at like an Italian restaurant. And we'd go there, have wine, dinner, poets would read, and then he'd have a featured musician. So I kind of weaseled my way into the local poetry scene. Erica Marie Garza Johnson, Poeta Power, Lady Mariposa, Daniel Garcia Ordaz, P.W. Covington. All these people have this amazing talent, Julieta Corpus, and they were doing these little events and I was just drawn to it. So that was my first experience through Flower Song. I found out that they had books published, and so I bought some. I bought a few. So yeah, man. And then I was super fucking excited though when I heard that you got on board. Lily came over to the house before all this COVID happened, and man, we were talking about it. I was like super excited about that because, like I said, I'd been following you since 2014, and I've been seeing the amazing fucking shit you do at fucking universities all over the fucking country. You know what I mean? And to have somebody of that caliber with a connection to the Valley, like that gives credence to what we're doing here, but at the same time, you're helping us. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, brother.
Well, I appreciate that too, man. No, I got a chance to go down there, and it was really cool, man, seeing the scene out there. It was a really, really healthy scene. It was really like there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff. So it's kind of like, I mean, there's talent all over the world. Just like it takes like a certain kind of nexus of people getting together, and then all of a sudden everybody starts just, it's like a magnet. Everyone starts kind of working together. So it's a really great thing going on in McAllen. The only thing about McAllen though, it's not a complaint. It's not like this is not me being Burroughs like shitting on the place. But this is the thing I say: is in McAllen, Texas, is like a town. I think what's the population of McAllen?
I don't know. I would say probably maybe 120, 150,000 maybe.
I'm gonna look this up, get this right, because this is the only thing I would say about McAllen, Texas.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Let's see the population. Population 150,000. Okay, it's a town that's got 150,000 people, but it was built for like 100,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little too small for the amount of people that live in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a 13-year-old shoe. It's like they're outgrowing the shoe. Like it's like a little bit too small for the amount of people live in it. I mean, like I was watching like a car wash, and there was like 8 people outside to go to the car wash and look at the rain. I was like, this town needs another car wash.
And it's funny because I just moved to McAllen from Mission, which is right next door. Like literally, you could throw a rock and hit Mission. But I didn't realize how small of a town Mission was until I moved to McAllen. I was like, holy shit, the laundromat has automatic doors.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
so
okay.
I'm living the big city life now in McAllen, bro.
So we got a question from the audience. It comes from Douglas Jacob. Says, he says he came in when we were talking about Germans and polka. He wants me to ask you if the early presence of the Irish had much influence on your music, or on the music of I mean, I guess on music of Dahana.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly, and I feel ignorant for saying, but I'll admit I don't know. I don't know anything. Like I don't know much about Irish music or history, to be honest. Like I think Celtic, right? Because
Yeah,
that's like the old Irish music is like Celtic music. But no, I don't see any. I don't hear any influence or anything. So no,
yeah,
Texas has a big German uh, influence. Yeah, outside of Austin and San Antonio, there's a town called New Braunfels, and of course we have a water park called Schlitterbahn. Uh, there was a whole German community that formed there in New Braunfels,
yeah,
and that's I think that's where that we stole the accordion from.
yeah. Well, I really appreciate you spending this time talking. Where can people find your music?
My music is at Ray Perez. That's RayPerez .bandcamp.com. Also soundcloud.com/Ray Perez. Also youtube.com/Ray Perez. But one link I want you guys to go to where if you want to get a taste of music from the Rio Grande Valley, I used to host a radio show on a local radio station we have here called RGV Titan Radio, where it's all local music from the valley. And I did like about 9 episodes of a show that I called Revolt of the Cockroach People, named after Oscar Acosta's book. And the website is noborderwall.us. Noborderwall.us. And you'll be able to hear original music from the Rio Grande Valley. That's how you'll really get a taste, because it's a broad spectrum of different genres. Some of my songs, I play my own songs on my show. I'm not gonna lie. So you'll get to hear some of my songs.
It's a DIY. All right.
Yes,
Well, I
sir.
really appreciate you, Ray, and I'm sure we'll be seeing each other as soon as this thing ends. I got a few. There's a few trips I got to make to McAllen, so
Awesome. Badass, brother. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Okay. Peace.